Good afternoon, teacher and classmates. I'm going to talk about the last class plan, the fifth class plan, and we have the topic of the adverbs of frequency, and we are working with the students of second of the bachelor. So I'm going to say first that we are focuses on the listening, speaking, writing, and reading skills. So we have some objectives. In this case, we have the students will be able to identify the difference after in a simple conversation, and in the speaking, they will be able to produce and express opinions or routines using these adverbs. In the reading case, we'll be able to recognize the adverbs of frequency in a simple reading comprehension, and in writing, we'll be able to construct simple paragraphs or give routines using these adverbs. So I want to mention the methodology that we use it. In this case, we are going to use communicate language teaching, audiolingual method, ECA method, global method, and gamification. In some strategies that we have are whole class work, paid work, and working in a collaborative manner to solve a problem, and using what they have in the environment to make sense to this use of the parts of the adverbs of frequencies. So in the anticipatory set, to catch the attention of the students, we are going to use the game Move It On. In this game, we are going to practice with them that an important topic as are the verbs, and give them a verb in an oral way, and they have to make the movements, and also give us the form in past and past participle and a simple sentences. The ones that would make this good will have an extra point. This motivate and create interest in the class to the students. So in the main teaching input, we are, as you know, we are focusing in the ECA method, and we begin with the experience and the reflections. As you know, the adverbs of frequencies are already a topic that the students in some moments of their learning already look. So in this case, we want to make them to understand what percent means each of the adverbs. So in this case, an example always is a 100% of possibility, and we are going to go less even often. Sometimes, usually, they have 75, 60, or 40. Even using this to make them to understand this topic. So first, we want to know what they think that is adverb of frequencies. We are going to have some ideas as if something about frequency, but they don't understand the word adverb. This is because sometimes we teach something to the students, but they don't know about what we are talking, or the general name of these words that they use it commonly. So after that, we are going to do in the reflection to give them some examples of a routine that we have all the days in the school. So I begin saying, I'm always come to the school at 7 a.m. and I asked the students what I said in my sentences, and they were going to try and say me or only that I go to the school at 7 a.m. Others going to ask me what means always. We don't know. So this is the way we are creating in them some critical knowledge and making them to do inferences. So we are also to let them to make some examples if some students recognize what always means. So they say, it is something that happens all the time, teacher. So give me an example. How you use that always? What thing you did or you do all the time? With this, we are trying to create some ideas of what meaning using the most principle as never, sometimes, and always, that are in the end and in the middle and in the top of the pyramid of the adverbs of frequency. So to begin with the modeling in the conceptualization, we are going to use our first supplementary material. In this case, we are going to make them to watch a video. In this video, they have a cup, and this cup begins to have more water or coffee or whatever they imagine, and they want to see in 0% say never, and then they have often, usually, sometimes, and sometimes it's 50, and they go other more, and in always there is at 100%. So with that, we stick with that part of the video, and we say, now that you already know how percent of this we have it, I'm going to ask some questions, and I say, how often do you take a shower? We make them to understand that how often is asking for one frequency that they use it. So in this case, as I ask to other students, how often do you take a shower? And also we can use body language response. And you said one of them, just give me what percent you take a shower. And they will say always, usually, sometimes, never, often. And with this, we are going to try to understand what percent means each adverb. So we have here a guide practice. So we are going to do with all the class the routine that we have in our school, the routine that have the class, that specific class of second of bachelor. In this case, we say, okay, students, what we make first? We come to the school teacher. So that is something that we do always. Yes, teacher, but in this, the students that don't come all the days, teacher, so this is maybe a 90%, so no, it is not always, and we put the sentences. So we made with them a routine that we have in the class, and they say, all this at the end, all of us go to home, and we say, this is all the students, and this we are going to have some comments like, I go to my particular class, I go to my mother's work. So we say, maybe it's just a 50, just as sometimes. They say, yes, teacher. So we begin to make a routine using the adverb and using something that pass with them. So finish that part. In the independent practice, we are going to give them a simple worksheet, and they have to try. They will have also what they watch in the video, the presents in the worksheet, and some little sentences where they have to use and try to inference. In this case, this is very important because they don't know the routine, or they don't know the frequency to make sense of sentences. They have to inference. That is good because we create in them a critical knowledge. So in this case, we are going to be monitoring and helping them. It is necessary, even when it is an independent practice, they need some extra help. It is necessary. So as an assessment, while they are doing this work, we are going to ask some questions to the students. As I said, so simple as how often do you go to the doctor? And I just want that they begin to try to create the sentences, not just say, teacher, usually. They want to say, I go to the doctor, I usually go to the doctor, teacher. Maybe they can have an error where they say, I go to the doctor usually. And here we are going to make to understand that the word usually have a part in the sentences and is after the pronoun. So doing that assessment while they are doing the worksheet, we are going in the closing review, watching what is missing, maybe other class using extra materials and doing more games. And we are going to send them as a homework that will be used in the next class, is to make them to do their routines, what they do after classes, because we know what we do while we are doing in this, what we are in the school, but we don't know what the students do outside of that. So we are going to send that homework, and in the next class we are going to work with that, and maybe what things the students make similar. I say some students say, my routine is go to my soccer team class. The other students say the same. We say, oh, just is not you, it's also your partner. So we are going to work with that in the next class. As I say, the use of the supplementary materials are very important because this creates an extra interest in the students, and the use of the videos is very important because help them to watch things that maybe a piece of paper can't show. This is going to be uploaded at the end of the video. This is everything, and thank you for watching.